alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. Somebody help me, 'cause I'm feeling trapped and I don't know what to do. There's no one to save me from this hurt I feel deep within my bones. Did you ever think of me and see the things I did? Sold my soul and everything, I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your poison dome, yet every single time you got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you. But you left me alone inside this empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you
After a great race at Mid-Ohio last week, we come now to the desert at Phoenix Raceway for round number 6 of the inaugural season for the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. Hello everybody, my name is Frank Marchese and welcome if you're watching us for the first time on YouTube or if you're watching us for the first time making our debut on the iRacing live portal. We thank you very much to iRacing for allowing us onto this platform and for you guys for allowing us a couple of hours of your time here tonight to bring you this absolutely fantastic series. We're in the middle of qualifying right now here for this new series. We'll get the timing tower up here for you right now as I will bring now in my broadcast partner here for this series. It is Tony Trapasso. Tony, love having you up here. And very excited here tonight, not just for this race, but for the big step here on ESPN.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't think of a better day that we could debut on the iRacing Network than Veterans Day, because I know for a fact there are quite a few veterans in the
I think we've had an audio problem here with Tony. We apologize for that, trying to get it worked out. As
User disconnected from your channel.
Qualifying is a little bit more than halfway through. Nate Siefker, winner of last week's race, is on the pole right now. As a matter of fact, here we'll go to our race information here for tonight's
User
race.
joined your channel.
Race info, there it is at Phoenix Raceway, pardon me. The Western Desert 200, last week's race week recap.
User left your
Nate
channel.
Siefker winning at Mid-Ohio from Chris Walker and Butch Davis rounding out the podium positions. Just 3 points separate Chris Walker from second place Chris Simard in the number 77, who you see just being separated by a couple hundredths of a second at the top of the timing pylon there. As, yep, we got you. As we'll bring Tony back in to do his proper introduction here.
Well, what I was saying earlier is I'm very happy that you have tonight to debut on the iRacing Live Network, basically because it's Veterans Day and we have quite a few veterans in this field tonight.
We certainly do, as we're taking a look at Mark Walker right now. He has already set his times. On track right now is Jeff Hollingsworth, a man that
is a veteran.
Yeah, a veteran, yes, of the U.S. Coast Guard, as you see on that Dallara IR-18. Unfortunately, looking a little bit slower on this second lap than he was in his first lap. Second half of the lap is a personal best, still not good enough to move him up beyond the 18th position. Tyler Vickery on track right now, looking to set his first lap. And Tony, Tyler had one heck of a race last week. The first race that he's run all season long, came home with the top 5 at a very difficult racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, of all the tracks to pick to make your series debut, I think Mid-Ohio would have been last on my list. Very difficult, very technical track, and young man really impressed me last week.
He certainly did. We've only got a couple of minutes. Oh! And like, I will say this though, like a professional, he did wait until after he had crossed the start-finish line to wreck. So there is that done for Tyler Vickery. Mark Walker, here he comes around. Just working on some extra practice laps. We've hit, we got about a minute and a half left here in this qualifying session. Nate Siefker sitting on top. Would like to give a shout out to our main sponsor here tonight, Diecast Nuts. Diecast Nuts is an online diecast collector community that gives our members a homepage to design how they want and post pictures of their collections of diecast cars, trucks, planes, etc. All brands, all scales, and all models are welcome, all for free. So if you have a diecast collection, you want to post pictures, show it off, maybe brag a little bit, go to diecastnuts.com. That's diecastnuts, NUTZ.com, and you can show off there. As we get down into the final 30 seconds of this qualifying session, there is Raul Alvarez, the last driver right now to take time, as he should get this lap in. Unfortunately, he will not get a second one, as Alvarez will post 24th position at a 21:053 as time on the session expires. And that is our qualifying session for the 6th round of the of the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series, complete and in the books. Waiting for the guys to grid up now. Let's go to the official grid here for this race, the Western Desert 200. It'll be Nate Siefker and Chris Simard on the front row, Jeffrey Roulette and Ronnie Osmer row 2, Butch Davis and Mark Walker row 3, Carl Burke and Kieran Bergelli make up row 4, Paul Crumry, William Fletcher in row 5. Row 6 will be Mark McFadden and Michael Sturgill. Row 7 will go to Dan Brazington and Johnny Antonucci. Brett Beasley and Bob Lacavara will make up row 8. Tony.
Row 10 is going to see Ernie
Row 9.
Ludwig and Jeffrey Bogan. Tony Phillips and Jeff Wubker are going to roll off in row 11. Row 12, we have Kevin O'Brien and Raul Alvarez. Row 13, we see Charles Woods and Tyler Vickery. Michael Bourne and Kevin Swindell are supposed to roll off in row 14, with row 15 allegedly going to Kyle Eli and Nate Darty. A lot of these names I'm not seeing are still in the session, though.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a technical issue at the beginning of the session being made, unfortunately. So there are some guys here on this list that are not going to be participating in the race here tonight, that were not supposed to be participating in the race this evening, as we get set to roll off here for the first time on the iRacing portal, for the 6th time on the season. Tony, this is not an easy track to get around in these cars. What are you expecting out of the race here tonight?
I'm expecting, with the way we've seen these guys run so far this season, I'm expecting pretty good give and take early on. There is a lot of respect for guys throughout the field, so everybody normally minds their P's and Q's early on, but as the fuel burns off, as the tires wear out, I expect the exit of turn 1, the exit of turn 4 to be calamity.
It very well could be, as the cars roll through turns 3 and 4, getting set to begin this 200-lap race here at Phoenix Raceway. The pace car peels off. Nate Siefker and Chris Simard will lead them down to begin round number 6 of the Sim Racers Edge season. Tonight's race is underway.
Siefker gets a great jump heading into turn 1. Simard has to deal with Roulette now, as Roulette timed the start just right. And here comes Ronnie Osmer as well to the inside on, I believe that was Butch Davis he just threw one in on.
I believe so as well, as Ronnie Osmer sitting in the 2nd position as there's a crash behind. Wow! Looks like Johnny Antonucci, Jeff Hollingsworth, and boy, oh boy, this has been an early calamity.
Paul Crumry going for a ride there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our first, thank goodness this is a night.
Boy, oh boy. And I believe, I know there was a fast repair last week. I'm not sure about this week, though.
There is
a fast repair. So these guys are going to burn that fast repair early in this race. We'll get a look here at what happened. And just coming off the quarter, as you mentioned, this happens a little bit further ahead, and you just see these guys running right into it. We'll get another angle here. I believe that's Paul Crumry flipping over. Mark McFadden's in that. Bogan in it as well. Get another look here. Maybe not as good a look as I thought it would be.
That basically started with Crumry. The back end of the car, for some reason, just washed out as he was coming out of turn number 4. And
yep, there it is.
It's Katie bar the door. Carl Burke along for the ride at that point.
Ernie Ludwig went for a ride in that tied ride. You see that flipping down at the bottom of your screen, and a whole lot of guys involved early here in this one, as that will be caution number 1 here, coming out of turn 4 on lap 2. And Tony, this is a fear coming to a track that is as small as Phoenix and cars that are as quick as these. This can happen.
Well, I mean, if you come down the front straightaway at Phoenix at speed, it would be like you trying to drive your family sedan down the hallway in between your kitchen. That's how tight it is here, and that's how tight it can feel here. It's very claustrophobic coming down the front straightaway here. And when something goes horribly wrong, you have nowhere to really hide.
I would say you have nowhere really to turn. And that is one of our sponsors here tonight. Tony, could you please tell the fine folks here about the sponsor for Sim Racers Edge, Turn?
Absolutely. Sim Racers Edge is powered by Turn Racing, and they are merging the gap between sim sport and motorsport with a series of high-quality sim racing peripherals for the racer who wants to bring their game to the next level. They offer steering wheels based on real-world designs, but with the functionality that sim racers need. Plug-and-play units set up for the most common sim rigs to computer-aided design files so you can 3D own. These guys offer it all. The link in the video description below and let them know that Sim Racers Edge sent you and show your support for the league.
So definitely give Turn Racing a look. Single file restarts here for Sim Racers Edge, which is why you see everybody up towards the wall, cannot pass on the outside as the pace car gets set to come on in one more time. We will try to get this going. There goes Siefker, and we are back under green flag racing here at Phoenix.
Absolutely. As Ronnie Osmer not getting the same quite well-timed start that he got the last time. And Aaron Bergelli starting to make some headway now as he's working the rear wing of Chris Simard for third.
Yeah, Simard definitely, again, started in that second position, so Simard does have speed. Second place in the point standings, as we had mentioned before. He's got somebody behind him, though, that we did not see last week. Decided to back out of participating in the race. He kind of race control last week. Kieran Bergelli, who we saw win a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely, and Bergelli is known as a short track specialist. And I know, when the NASCAR guys come here, this isn't a short track. When Indy cars come here, this is the shortest track you're going to see.
Yeah, and trying to make his way up, try to make up for lost points from last week is Kieran Bergelli. Nate Siefker, as you can see, has about a half a second lead on Ronnie Osmer right now as they go through turns 3 and 4. Here at Phoenix, about to start lap number 10, as I believe there was somebody in the pits there. That's Bob Lacavara with all sorts of damage on that number 5 Dallara.
Yeah, he got it wrong coming out of turn 1 lap the wall, and he's now going to have to burn his fast repair. Already burn it earlier thing that.
Lacavara already with the damage to his Dallara, trying to bring it into pit road. Now he's coming out of pit road.
We're under caution again.
Yeah, we are under caution again. This time, I believe checkerboard. No. Who would that have been? We'll take a look at it right now here. Caution is out. Oh, that's Crumry again, getting it wrong. Coming out of turn 4 once again here. We'll get you another look at this.
I'm thinking he missed on what that weight jacker's supposed to get at that car and got the car too loose.
Yeah, we've seen him already now twice in these first 15 laps or so. Really getting it wrong coming out of that 4th corner. And Paul Crumry, that will essentially put an end to his night after getting involved, being a major part of that first incident.
Yeah, and you really hate to see that for a veteran like Paul Crumry. And I say veteran both in IndyCar racing that we've seen, but also Paul's a States Armed Forces veteran.
Yep, he certainly is. We got cars in pit road here. For those of you who have not seen the graphic down there at the bottom, the time that's in the 30s right now is total time spent in pit lane. The time in the bracket is total time stopped in the pit box as this group makes their way out. Still Siefker, Osmer, Simard, Brigelli, and Mark Walker, the top 5 here as we are under our second caution of the race here at Phoenix Raceway. And looking like somebody, that's Woods, coming down into pit lane again. There's Charles Woods.
He got trapped behind the pace car when the caution came out.
Okay. So that would explain that, as once again working our second caution here. For those of you guys who are watching us for the first time on the iRacing portal, this is round number 6 of the season, and some of the races that these guys have put on this year, that the series opener at Auto Club about a month and a half ago now, that came down to an absolute dead heat at the line. A wild finish at Road America for round 2. Then I believe it was Texas had a great finish. It was the next race that had another side-by-side for the win finish. Then where did we go after? I believe it was help me out, Tony.
Motegi.
Oh, yes, you're right. Twin Ring Motegi. That's why I don't remember it. I was working that night and didn't broadcast it. Another very solid race at Twin Ring Motegi. And then last week, these guys were really competitive around the road course at Mid-Ohio. And if you are watching on the iRacing portal right now, we would very much welcome you to go to our YouTube page to take a look at some of those races, especially that race at Auto Club to start the year.
Absolutely. And while you're there, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here with Sim Racer. And,
User was moved to your channel.
I just so happen to have radio contact now with Paul Crumry as he's starting to load that car into the hauler. Paul, what happened?
Well, unfortunately, for some reason, when I went from qualifying to racing, it somehow modified my ARB settings in my weight jacker, which was almost completely opposite of what it should have been. So the car was just really icy. It was squirrely. As you see in the first lap, it just completely snapped on me, and I literally wasn't spinning the tires or anything. And then I was trying to control it after that caution, and she just snapped on me again. And then when I looked at my setup, I was wondering, I was shocked that the system just kept it where it was. And unfortunately, I took out some guys, and this is my track. I mean, this is one of the tracks besides Iowa that I'm really, really good at, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on without. And unfortunately, I did not have time to look at the settings for weight jackers, and it just it wasn't meant to be, I guess, tonight.
The one that it's not Jeff Wubker is he's got it pointed the wrong way on the front stretch.
Yeah, that is our third caution of the evening, and we will go get you a look at this caution here. Is our third one. Once again, coming out of turn 4, and Wubker just thought he was clear. That's Yari Brupatcher that he came up in front of, and just, again, Wubker thought he was clear, and Wubker's another one who had issue with, in that first incident, using that fast repair, and early on is now in quite a severe amount of trouble.
Having Jeff Wubker leverage there, Paul.
Sorry, I didn't catch that, Tony. What was that?
Yeah.
I say it looks like you're going to have Jeff Wubker joining you in the infield adult beverage area.
Yeah, we're gonna have to crack a couple beers and sit back and watch the rest of the race here tonight. Unfortunately, in the pits, but I heard a little bit of tidbit on your salute to the veterans. Appreciate that. Myself being a Desert Storm veteran, 13 years in the Air Force, it's a beautiful night in Phoenix to be racing. You know, with Veterans Day and celebrating the veterans appreciation, and we appreciate ESPN giving a shout out to all the veterans, because I know we have Tim Bates and Jeff Hollingsworth, and there may be another one or two of us that are veterans in the league, and we always appreciate a little bit of shout out, and to give a shout out to all my brothers and sisters out there that are veterans and still serving. Appreciate everything that we do for the country. Appreciate everything you guys do for the country. We're still on watch, even though we're not active duty, but we appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Paul, hopefully you have some better luck next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I was fourth. I was fourth in the oval. I think I was besides Chris Simard, him and I were the only ones that had the 4 races with the top 5. I think this is the first time I haven't been in the top 5 on the ovals, so it's kind of a bummer.
Better luck next week, Paul.
All right, guys. Thanks for doing a great job on the broadcast. Welcome to the portal. Good job, and we'll see you guys later. See you next week.
Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
So that was Paul Crumry, one of the early retirements here. And Tony, you were right, 100%. You nailed it, just didn't have the weight jacker set properly.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, iRacing, they sprung on these guys and gals that run the Indy cars, where even in a fixed setup series like this, they still let you now play with the anti-roll bar adjustment, the in-cockpit weight jacker, and everybody's running the same shock package, the same spring package, the same tire pressures, so on, same gearing, same wing angles. But you can really dial these cars in now to fit your driving style with that anti-roll bar adjustment and the weight jacker adjustment. And I heard Paul say it changed something when he jumped in the car to start the race and catch it, because, you know, normally you set it and forget it, and it went haywire on him.
And that does happen quite a bit as we get set to restart this race here one more time. About to start lap 23 of this event. Nate Siefker leading Ronnie Osmer, Chris Simard, and Kieran Bergelli, the top 4 to the line. There goes Siefker. We are back underway here in Phoenix.
Everybody getting a pretty clean start that time, and that's what restarts kind of lead to, as Mike Sturgill all over the rear wing of Mark Walker right now, trying to make some headway as he's getting pressure from behind him from Brett Beasley.
And Sturgill is one of the guys that has been up towards the front in the standings, currently sitting in 3rd place in the standings as we hit the halfway mark of the season. Just lost that points lead last week, having a mediocre finish last week at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that's a week he'd probably just as soon forget. And he stated before we went into that event, he is not a road racer. And unfortunately, they threw him to the wolves last week with one of the most difficult road courses hit an IndyCar around on the tour.
Yeah, and we only had 5 cars finish on the lead lap last week at Mid-Ohio, a race that this man, Nate Siefker, completely ran away with, and he was lucky. He won Mid-Ohio quite uneventfully, but he was very lucky back in week 2 of the season to get the win at Road America after a wild final lap.
Yeah, that was definitely something that if you're new to watching Sim Racers Edge, you're definitely going to want to jump over our YouTube page and find race 2 from Road America and watch the final laps of that one. That was one of the most wild finishes on a road course I've ever seen.
And Nate Siefker is somewhat of a road course ringer here. He has a lot of success here on the ovals. He's always up towards the front, if not at the front, as he gets pinched just a little bit there, I believe. That might have been... I wonder who that was, actually.
That was Bob Lacavara.
That's who I thought it was. And you had mentioned during the 24 hours at Spa.
We're under caution.
Yep, caution comes out again. So I believe this one was Tyler Vickery.
Yari Burrowpatcher was involved in that one.
There is Yari.
Oh, yeah, no, Vickery had nothing to do with it.
Oh, no. Okay, so we'll take a look here at the caution, and just as, of course, it just looks like a little bit of a coming together coming out of turn 2 there that led to Yari Burrowpatcher getting spun off the rear end of the car in front of him.
That was Raul Alvarez that bounced off the safer barrier and just hip checked Yari, and around she went.
And it's very easy to do around here, is just to knock the front end of the car in front of you away, and that usually sends them off and spinning. Working lap 31 now. We are under caution number 4 here of this evening. 200 laps scheduled here for tonight. And we're looking at this man right here, the number 96 of Brett Beasley. Brett Beasley, right now our biggest, actually our second biggest mover of the race. Look back here to Tony Phillips. He is our biggest mover of the race, up 9 positions. Now, granted, that is because of drivers coming into pit, him avoiding accidents. But Tony Phillips has been one of the more solid drivers so far this season, showing what he can do here tonight, putting it up in 12th. Absolutely.
He's been real consistent, and I think give him another couple of seasons, will come from that man. Been nothing short of impressed with everything that he's on.
Brett Beasley we'll shine the spotlight on him. Brett Beasley up 8 positions from the start, and Beasley's been one of those guys, has been consistently up at the front. He had a major role at the end of that race at Auto Club, had a fantastic run at Texas going. Then Twin Ring Motegi had another solid run. He's proven to be quite a factor in these oval races.
Yeah, absolutely. He's fourth in points.
Currently 4th in points is what Tony was trying to say there, is Brett Beasley. Still having our microphone issues there. We do apologize for those issues. As we look through the field here, Nate Siefker still out in front. The top 5 has pretty much remained the same from the initial go. We've seen Ronnie Osmer move up from 4th to 2nd position. Chris Simard has gone from 2nd back to 3rd. Kieran Bergelli had that great start getting himself up into the 4th position. Mark Walker up a position as well, sitting now in the 5th position as we get set to go green here once again. at Phoenix Raceway. Michael Sturgill, Brett Beasley, who we just highlighted, Butch Davis, Jeffrey Roulette, and Dan Brazington. Currently your top 10 here at Phoenix Raceway. And Tony, let's get you in on this. Why don't you bring him to green? If he's actually stepped aside here for a second, pardon me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 hard left turn, Siefker goes up the button one more time, and pace cars in. Siefker pulls the trigger, and we are back underway as Sturgill again all over the back of Walker on the restart. Walker, though, not giving him any room, so Sturgill throwing it to the inside as they haul off into turn number 3.
Walker in that white Dallara on the outside lane, able to keep that momentum. And take a look here, looking from Brett Beasley. Right behind these two, that's Michael Sturgill right in front of him. As Beasley looking to move up positions. Especially now since we've had a decent amount of cautions here, trying to make as much up as he can as he goes now under Michael Sturgill in the 55.
Looks to the inside, doesn't have enough room to make the happen. Wisely backing off as Sturgill just keeps his foot in it. And the battling that he's having to do with Brett Beasley is letting Mark Walker start to pull away a little bit.
Up at the front here, it's Ronnie Osmer and Chris Simard, the top two. Well, the back two of the top three, I should have said. As Siefker has gotten away by about 3/4 of a second. Now Ronnie Osmer currently trying to fend off the hard-charging Chris Simard, who was the winner the last time we were on an oval back in Twin Ring Motegi.
Yeah, and Simard has really solidified himself as a contender for this season. As he won at Motegi, he real well at Auto Club. He finished real well at Chicagoland, and or not Chicagoland.
Texas.
Thank you. Mile and a half, so I'll start to blend together after a while, folks. I do apologize.
We're going to Chicagoland tomorrow night. I think that was more.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yep. So watching Ronnie Osmer now trying to pull away as he is starting to create a little bit of a gap back to Chris Simard. That is Raul Alvarez in the number 9 getting lapped, trying to stay out of their way. That black number 9, and Osmer has found some pace here. He is now catching up to the leader, Nate Siefker. As you can see, that last lap, he was about a half a second quicker than the leader of this race.
Osmer looks like he might be trying to save some tires right now, knowing that he's not inside his pit window. So look for him to start to turn it on now. Siefker is known for going out hard on an oval and hopefully opening up a big enough lead that tire wear doesn't matter. But Osmer and Simard both know how to save their equipment.
Yeah, these are certainly guys that do know, well, they have their strategies and they've both worked for them. But as we head back into the mid-pack here, Michael Sturgill has gotten around Mark Walker, and now Brett Beasley, who we were riding on board with before, is right on the back of Mark Walker in that double zero, trying his best to get around.
Yeah, Beasley kind of biding his time too. Again, we're not within the fuel window. Again, 80% fuel fill on these cars tonight. So at best, you're looking 50-ish laps, 60-ish laps under anger, and you're going to start seeing pit stops. And guys that haven't been down pit road yet, got to think that they're starting to plan their first stop now.
Guys a little bit further back. Guys we haven't talked about much here in the early stages of this race. Jeffrey Roulette and Jeff Hollingsworth. These guys are hanging out right at the tail end of the top 10. And if you are familiar with ESPN, you are very, very familiar with Jeff Hollingsworth, a driver who is very solid week in and week out, is going to give you a very good performance and a very good show anytime he is on our broadcast.
Absolutely, and a very versatile driver, too. I mean, we've seen him run in road racing leagues, 100 leagues. We're back under caution.
We are.
Oh! Kevin O'Brien going backwards into the dogleg.
Yep, there he is. That's the number 84 of Kevin O'Brien. And that's a very awkward position. Might have been the same thing that happened to Yari Brupatcher. Nice little flick spin there.
Well, it looked
84.
like it looked like going into one just ever so slightly. He clipped the apron just past that little jut out in the pit wall. He dove it in, caught the apron, and then was just chasing it for the rest of the corner.
And then just let it slide about his he let it slide right up until the wall forced him to stop. Did the 84 as we get back to live pictures. Under caution number 5 here, about a quarter of the way through this race. And from what it looks like, pit stops are coming, Tony, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. As wholesale pit stops for everybody that hasn't been down pit road yet, at least. Like, only a couple are not going pit side.
And from what I can see, the only driver on the lead lap that did not bring it pit side is the 24 of Tyler Vickery. As we will try now to take a look and see this race off of pit road. You see where the guys are down on the bottom of the screen as they head on out of pit lane. Give it to Nate Siefker, in and out with the lead.
Absolutely, and a couple more retirements too, as Carl Burke has put it on the hauler, as had
Carl Burke, and we didn't catch the second one, but looking back,
Bob Lacavara.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at as well. So the 3 retirements again: Carl Burke, Bob Lacavara, and Paul Crumry. The 3 drivers that will no longer be participating in the race here tonight. And right up here is Tyler Vickery. Now, Tyler, as we mentioned, made his season debut back at Mid-Ohio last week, kept the car on the racetrack, finished in a top 5 position. And Tony, as you mentioned, not a bad way to start, especially at such a difficult track as Mid-Ohio.
Very much so. And Vickery is one of those, as a young driver that he is, he knows how to play the fuel mileage game. And I'm thinking he's already split this race up in where he's going to stop and when he's already been down pit road once, so he's a little bit off sequence from everyone else. But on those older tires, he's sitting duck right now.
Yeah, he is on 30 lap old tires from where everybody else is. Let's take a look there. You see the scenario playing out. Tyler Vickery already having 21 laps on that set of tires as he gets set, to lead these guys down to the green flag this time.
And kind of got a feel for him. Everybody behind him, skilled drivers. He's going to have the start of his life and hope that he doesn't spin the tires, because with as closely packed as these guys are about to be, if he loses it, the whole field is going to eat a wall.
Yeah, that's certainly not. We've already seen that happen once on lap 2 here this evening, as we get set to go. You're about to start lap 53. We're past quarter distance. Nice jump for Tyler Vickery, and we are back under green flag racing. But for how much longer is Vickery going to be able to hold on those 20-lap-old tires?
Well, we're about to find out, because Nate Siefker under heavy pressure from Ronnie Osmer right now. Osmer running that second groove, which we have seen that pay dividends in the past. And Osmer going to do it the hard way, going around the outside of Siefker out of 4.
Still trying to get that race, well, the effective race lead, I guess you could say, for Ronnie Osmer on the outside. You can see the cones down there on the inside. This is the closed dog leg, so you cannot take advantage down there. But Osmer certainly trying to take advantage along the outside lane and takes that high momentum run coming out of turn 4, gets around Nate Siefker. Siefker in traffic for the first time tonight.
And we're about to see how well he handled that. But Tyler Vickery, looking in his rearview mirror, has got to be loving this, as he's now out to almost a half a second lead over Osmer, Siefker, and Simard.
This is the battle for second here between Ronnie Osmer, Nate Siefker, and Chris Simard. Second and third right now in our number 1 and 2 in the points, only separated by 3 points heading into tonight at the halfway point of this season. As Kieran Bergelli not that far behind these guys. He has Michael Sturgill right behind him, but a battle for the lead now as Ronnie Osmer takes the lead away from Tyler Vickery. And now we're going to start to see those 20-lap-old tires start to fall back through the field.
And that's what we were talking about just before they went back to green. Vickery's
oh, there goes Siefker's around. Oh, it's...
And Simard.
That was a big one for Chris Simard, who was just trying to avoid Nate Siefker, who lost it on his own coming out of turn 2. And we'll take a look at it again here in just a moment. But there is Nate Siefker. Fortunately for him, it doesn't look like he has any damage on that number 2. But the same cannot be said for Chris Simard, who took a big hit.
Yeah, that was an ugly one for Simard. And the thing is, it looked like Siefker may have done the same thing Kevin O'Brien did, and just clipped that apron going into 1.
That was Kieran Bergelli as well, who got caught in that. And boy, oh boy, Siefker did a fantastic job to not get hit. Let's take a look. Well, we'll try to get a look here on board from Nate Siefker. There he is. Boy, and he just missed Chris Simard and was able to keep it out of the wall. Great driving by the driver of the number 2.
Simard was trying to take evasive action and got flat run over from behind by Karen. Got to think Bergelli's gonna have some sort of suspension damage.
And Bergelli, looking at that car, it doesn't look like he has too much damage. We're looking at the left front here of Kieran Bergelli's number 98. Bergelli, the winner back in week 3 at Texas. But for the guys up at the front, there seems to be one of these every single week, with the drivers at the front getting into some sort of incident. And this time it came early as Nate Siefker coming down into pit road. Or coming out of pit road, pardon me.
Yeah, and yeah, Bergelli has a left rear suspension. Simard actually launched off of the sponson just in front of the left rear tire.
You can see
him up into the wall.
And you can see that quote-unquote fender missing. There's what the rear of the car is supposed to look like on the right rear, and the left rear most decidedly does not look like that. So that number 98 of Kieran Bergelli did take some damage there as a big wreck for caution number 6. as we are working lap 61, about to start lap 62. Ronnie Osmer in the lead for the first time here tonight. And Tony, I'm excited to see this. This is his first time that he's had a chance to lead. He will not have Nate Siefker breathing down his neck as he normally would have in this situation. I'm surprised. I'm interested to see here what Ronnie Osmer is going to be able to do.
Yeah, very much so. Is remainder of the season that we've seen so far, Osmer's been caught up in other people. As we haven't really seen shine, but he's got a very hungry Kieran Brighelli, very hungry Mark Walker right behind him, far out on the.
Do apologize, still flashing in and out on the audio there, but Michael Sturgill, as Tony was mentioning, going to be starting in third place here on this restart. Well, a little bit of an accordion effect there on the restart, as now Osmer will lead them down for the first time here, about to start lap 63 here at Phoenix. Osmer takes off. We're back racing here at the Sim Racers Edge, 6th round of the season, as Michael Sturgill looking to get a run on Kieran Brighelli, unable to, now looks to the outside going into turn 3, and Brighelli is certainly going to be feeling that damage on the left rear as Sturgill goes right around him, and boy, that was Mark Walker taking a wide line as Sturgill tried, as Brighelli tried to defend his position on that outside line, forced Walker up, goes from 4th all the way down to the 8th position. Does Mark Walker. Brett Beasley, who we had highlighted before, up to 3rd. Jeff Hollingsworth goes into 4th, and Kieran Brighelli right now in that number 98 is hemorrhaging positions. Started this last run just a couple of laps ago in P2, and there he goes. He gets spun around and hard into the wall. Flipping is Kieran Brighelli. And honestly, it was a matter of time before that had happened. And unfortunately for Brighelli, let's take a look. That is Tony Phillips. And she's just cannot hold the corner. It did look like Tony Phillips got up into Brighelli. But that was the rear end damage.
User joined your channel.
As Brighelli ends up flipping through turns 3 and 4 under caution number 6 of the evening. As I believe we've almost got Tony back. I believe, Tony, are you back?
Am I back?
Yes, I hear you, yes.
Like it sounds like I just missed all the fun.
If you take a look at Tony Phillips, who is currently missing the right half of his front wing, Brighelli started to dramatically lose positions after that restart because of the left rear damage, and Phillips, unfortunately, was the one that caught him.
About right.
We saw Mark Walker, one of the guys who got sent towards the back, trying to avoid running into Kieran Brighelli into pit road. We got a group of guys in pit road now. Dan Brasington, Tyler Vickery, Yari Brupatcher, Mark McFadden, Raul Alvarez, now all coming out of pit road. As we are under caution number 6 here, working lap 68 of 200 here at Phoenix. And for those of you who are joining us on our normal homes of either Facebook or YouTube, we thank you very much. For those of you joining us for the first time tonight, here on the iRacing portal. We thank you very much for joining us as well, and we thank you for the opportunity that for this opportunity that iRacing has afforded to us. We will be back on the iRacing portal on Sunday night as well with the with the Kicking Asphalt Racing's MPI Cup Series from Watkins Glen. That will be starting at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time, and that race, as all of our races here on ESPN, will be brought to you by Diecast Nuts. Diecast Nuts is an online diecast collector community that gives our members a home page to design how they want and post pictures of their collections of diecast cars, trucks, planes, etc. All brands, all scales, and models are welcome, all for free at diecastnuts.com. That is diecastnutz.com, and I believe that link is in the description of our YouTube video that we have going up right now. Also in that YouTube description, you will find the link to our website, espnofficial.com, where you can find our upcoming races. You can watch this race live. You can watch any live broadcast that we're doing on espnofficial.com, a calendar for upcoming races, an about section, a contact us section, and also a link to our Teespring store as well. You can also find a link to our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and a direct line to our Teespring store down in the description of the YouTube video. And as Tony likes to say, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to all of our pages as we get set to go back to green here, Tony. Working lap 71 of 200. Ronnie Osmer shot out of a cannon again.
Absolutely, and we're back under caution again.
Well, that lasted. This looks like it might have been Kieran Bergelli again.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was Kieran Bergelli again. Let's see what the driver of the 98 has gotten himself into this time. Spins it on his own.
Did the exact same thing that Paul Crumry did. Tried to correct it, and it looks like he might have more damage on that car than he thinks.
It did only look, I mean, he would have had to have taken a fast repair. He went flipping. So I'm not sure whether or not he had, again, as you mentioned, the Crumry issue with him just having the weight jacker and all that stuff set up to be on older tires and in the pack. He just lost it coming out of turn 4 on his own.
And something happened to Raul Alvarez as well going into 1.
Let's see if we can pick that up. As well. There is Raul Alvarez. Let's see if we can find what had happened to him. There you see Bergelli spinning in the back, which brought out the caution. Alvarez, just about ran into the back end of Mark McFadden and just narrowly missed the end of the pit wall.
I don't think he missed it because he's missing his.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, that's definitely not a good sign.
Entertainment all over as you see that that Danica Patrick inspired number 31 of Tony Phillips. He has come in. He has replaced the right front of that wing on that neon green and black GoDaddy number 31 for Tony Phillips. And I'm sure Raul Alvarez has done the same at this point. He has not yet, but he's going to right now.
Yeah, it's skills where cautions breed cautions. You know, we all the time. Especially at this track, you've got to make up as many spots as you can as soon as that green flag flies, because it's very easy to get out here. Luckily, we still have 20 cars on the lead lap, though.
Yeah, we do have no waiver rounds here in SRE. So that will certainly, you're going to have to get it back the old-fashioned way. It's again about to start working lap 75 under caution number 7 of 200 here. Probably we're not going to have 200 cautions here tonight. Working lap 75 of 200, working on caution number 7 at the moment. Those are the English words I was trying to use there as the lights go out on the Ford Mustang safety car.
Point out the car Tony Phillips is driving, actually the James Hinch version of the.
Oh, you are 100% right, actually.
That would be the first season that go drive full fender stuff.
You are 100% correct on that. As we are about to go green, Tony, let's see if your mic can hold out long enough.
Keep your fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, as Ronnie Osmer right behind the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Single file restart. Osmer going to have the button. Sturgill going to try to go with him as best he can. Not going to work as Osmer drops the hammer and we are back underway.
He did get a better start this time than last did Sturgill. So Sturgill somewhat able to hold on. Brett Beasley, Jeff Hollingsworth, Jeff
again.
Roulette make up the back end, and we have another caution.
Keepers.
On circuit, it's Johnny Antonucci missing his front wing. Yari Brubhatcher, you see there in the pits. Michael Bourne is around with damage, somebody we haven't talked about at all here tonight yet.
Jeffrey Bogan just got annihilated.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what brought this caution out. As, oh my goodness, Bogan, wow. That happening right in front of Nate Siefker as well. And take a look from Jeffrey Bogan's perspective here. See him come down, gets clipped in the right rear. Boy, Nate Siefker gets lucky again. And then there's Yari Brubhatcher.
Yeah, you got to feel for Brubhatcher because he had absolutely no. Can't really blame Phillips because, or not Phillips, Bogan, because Bogan was still flipping when Brubhatcher got to him.
So just, again, this is the type of racing that you see here at Phoenix Raceway, working caution number 8. Here as we work lap 78 of 200. As Kieran Bergelli goes on by. Ronnie Osmer still in the lead. Had a nice solid, 15 lap or so green flag run, but that's been about the extent of it so far here tonight.
Yeah, for some reason, these guys are getting a little bit chippy and a little early to see the aggression level this high.
Yeah, for those of you who have followed these guys all season long, you guys know that this is the outlier. This is not the way these guys perform. These guys are incredibly good, incredibly talented, incredibly solid racers, and they prove that on a week in, week out basis. It's this car, this track combination that it just catches a lot of people out, and you'd see this type of racing in open in iRacing official lobbies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Phoenix is not the easiest track to get around in any, let alone an 800 horsepower, 1,500-pound monster like this.
It certainly is not. As you may have seen up there on the top right part of the screen, between the Sim Racers Edge Series logo and our broadcast logo, that is the logo, waiting for it to flash on over. There it is, for Turn Sim Racing. And Tony, why don't you tell the fine folks about Turn?
Well, Turn Racing came on as a partner for the Sim Racers Edge program. And Turn Racing is merging the gap between sim sport, motorsport with a series of high-quality sim peripherals for the sim racer who wants to bring their game to the next level. They offer steering wheels based on real-world designs with the functionality that sim racers need. Plug-and-play setups for the most common sim rigs to create a design file so you can 3D print your own parts. These guys offer it all. Use the link in the video description below and let them know that Sim Racers Edge sent you so you can support for the league.
We're very, very happy to have Turn Racing on board with Sim Racers Edge as we get set to go green here once again, about to start lap 81 of 200. Safety car about to duck off. There he goes. Osmer's going to wait to get that Dallara straight and hits the loud pedal. We are racing once again here at Phoenix.
That little hesitation that Osmer had to make sure he could fire off straight also let Sturgill get straight. And, well, Osmer now starting to stretch his legs a little bit. And don't look now, but got jaws in the water as Jeff Hollingsworth now up into fourth.
There he is. We were talking about him earlier when he was down in the high teens in that 13th, 14th position range. He has found his way up into the top 5. Again, a very competitive, very competent racer that we have seen here on the network for quite some time, as also making their way back up through the field. There is the number 2 of Nate Siefker, who we just saw narrowly avoid missing the last incident, and Chris Simard following him right up through the field as Wupker and Walker going side by side for 3 and 4.
How many times have we seen it here in Simard just in lockstep most of the race?
It shows with where those two are in the point standings. Simard with 1 win, winning at Twin Ring Motegi this year, as Nate Siefker has swept both of the road courses. And right now, you see here, you got the battle for the 5th position here as Jeffrey Roulette in that orange number 66, Butch Davis in the middle, Nate Siefker right behind him.
And Siefker's going to have some work if he wants to get by both those guys, because Davis is a tough competitor, and you know Roulette's no pushover either. He's new to the season or the league this season, but I've been impressed by what I've seen out of that young man.
Certainly have been. And Roulette right now sitting in the top 5, having started in 3rd position, so he does have speed in that Dallara IR18, looking to show it as he's trying to close that gap down to Jeff Hollingsworth in the 4th position. But right now, speaking of closing the gap, Chris Simard has closed that gap right now to Nate Siefker, as that has now become a quartet instead of a trio.
Absolutely. As Simard going to try to ride it out for right now, knows that he's still got plenty of time left in this one. We're not quite at halfway. There's another one.
Caution is out once again here, and I believe that once again is Kieran Brigelli, and there you see him sitting in the pit lane, and that's typically the reason. And Brigelli all alone through 3 and 4, and loses it off of 4. Slide, stop on the apron, and because he was stopped on the front straightaway, it brought out caution number 9 here this evening.
Yeah, I mean, you hate that for anybody. Always a hard runner, and I'm thinking he might be now plagued with the same thing that was going on with Paul Crumry earlier, where something has changed the setup of that car.
Yeah, we have seen it before. Again, as you mentioned with Paul Crumry, we heard him say it as we have action in pit lane. Some of these top guys now going on split strategies as Jeff Hollingsworth fakes into pit road, while Jeffrey Rolette we saw faking out of pit road. Nate Siefker, Chris Simard coming in as well. Jeff Wupker, the 09. Those guys all into pit road.
And I can't say I blame them. You've got to try to do something. Osmer, Sturgill, Rolette, those guys lap old tires. Yeah,
those guys
save
came
a little
in on lap
bit.
49, so yeah, about 40 lap old.
Right, and I mean, we haven't had a lot of laps under anchor, but still, there is going to be a difference between fresh rubber and rubber that's been on the car, even if it is.
We saw it earlier with Tyler Vickery. He was able to hold that lead for a little while, but once he got off of that preferred line, he was in a lot of trouble and fell right to the back. He was another one of those guys that decided to come in now, as you see Ernie Ludwig coming into pit road in the background there.
Well, I think Vickery figured it out that, hey, anytime I can get 4 fresh tires on this car, I'm going to do it. They have unlimited tire sets for this event, so if you can use it, use it. Especially if you're not familiar with how the different in-car adjustments. If you're not as familiar with those as others, fresh tires are going to be your best friend.
And unlike a lot of the series here, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is the iRacing East Super Speedway series that broadcasts every Friday night here on ESPN. That is the only other series that that does not have a tire limit on pit road. We're used to seeing now tire limits after those came out in the last major update for iRacing, as the lights are back out on the safety car.
Yeah, and I got to give credit to the admins here not imposing tire limits, mostly because you that in full-blown IndyCar racing, it lights occasionally, not the full, plus horsepower beast are the IR18. So hats off to everybody there.
And these guys have done a fantastic job all season long. And especially to get, what do we have, like 26 drivers last week for one of the more technical, difficult road courses that you can have at Mid-Ohio, as Ronnie Osmer gets an early jump as we go back racing here, working lap 93 of 200, almost to the halfway point here tonight.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. We did have over 25 drivers showed up for that event. So, you guys are wanting to race, and again, this is what we're seeing tonight isn't what we normally see out of these guys.
It certainly is not, as we can see the fresh tires already starting to make a difference, as Hollingsworth, Siefker, and Simard have already, Simard working on it, but now is about to dispatch of Tony Phillips, as fresh tires are going to start making their way towards the front of the pack here, starting with 7th place, Jeff Hollingsworth. There he is in the number 97 Coast Guard Dallara, looking to the outside of Mark Walker, trying to use that momentum, and will successfully around the outside going onto the front straightaway.
As Walker cut Siefker off, that almost ended. But yeah, Hollingsworth making it happen the hard way, and we it time and time again, especially through 3 and 4. That second lane later in the event will start to come in and pay dividends.
Certainly has been, and once again, Siefker having a little bit of an issue getting around Mark Walker, goes to the inside here, but that cost him a lot of time to the 97 of Jeff Hollingsworth, who is now working on Butch Davis in the 43, looking to the inside through 3 and 4, not able to get it done. Might try the inside going into 1 and 2 if he's close enough, which he's not.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing too, is last week we saw these guys able to use, and Siefker sideways.
Oh, Siefker is sideways, trying to get
If
on it. There he
Simard's
goes,
into
and
it,
he's
too.
got Simard with him. So we have hit double digits. 10 cautions just prior to halfway here as we'll take a look at what brought out caution number 10 between Chris Simard and Nate Siefker. There is Simard. Number 77 doesn't appear to be too damaged.
I don't think he hit him. He just locked it down to stay off him. And it looked like Siefker may have caught the apron again going into one.
Wow, that's... Siefker and Simard, that is the second time Simard has narrowly avoided. And we'll take a look at it one more time here. That is the second time. We'll get to this here. There goes Siefker pirouetting and synchronized sliding as Simard just barely missing the two of Siefker. My goodness, these two have had a heck of a night together.
Yeah, I mean, it's been wild. But all season long, those two have been in lockstep, and crashing, they're in lockstep.
Exactly, the synchronized pirouetting has come full form here at Phoenix. As you see Simard getting into his box, Ronnie Osmer in and out as pit stops have commenced for the leaders here right at the halfway point here, about to start lap 101 of 200. Jeff Hollingsworth, who came into the pits along with Jeff Wupker and Dan Brazington under the last caution flag, are going to have the point here, and with only 10 laps on those tires, really shouldn't make a difference as Brazington now peels off to get a new set.
I think Brazington realized that what's behind, not as comfortable with his car adjustments as the rest of them are. We Wupker run up front all season long. We've seen Hollingsworth run up front all season long. So those two are both no stranger to the adjustments that they have to make.
Jeff Wupker's had a very good run at Road America, was also solid at Mid-Ohio last week, and he's been right up in the mix in the 4 oval races that we've had this season so far, this being the 4th, right up here again. As Wupker started towards the back, is up 20 positions from the start of this race. Hollingsworth up 17 after those two guys had less than stellar qualifying outings.
Yeah, and you kind of can't fault either one of them. This is not the easiest track to get around, and really need to find your rhythm, and 2 laps is not.
No, that would certainly not suffice as far as working on a rhythm, as the safety car is in once again. Well, his lights are off on the safety car once again, pardon me. As we are about to go green here, working lap 102 of 200 here at Phoenix. And Tony, I think we'll let you get it going again here.
He's out of the dog leg. Hollingsworth, Wupker, Osmer, Sturgill, and Beasley, your top 5. As like we've already got a little bit of shenanigans. Tony out of line to try to let somebody get on his outside. Pace car is in. Hollingsworth holds him down as they work their way out of turn number 4. Gets it pointed straight, pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
Starting lap 103 of 200 here. We have officially hit the second half of this race. Jeff Hollingsworth currently in the lead, as now we look at Ronnie Osmer looking to the outside of Jeff Wupker. That would be for the second position. Osmer's been in the top 3 since the word go here and led a vast portion of the second half of this race, of the second half of the first half. The last 50 laps.
So far, most laps led currently Ronnie Osmer is he is starting to reel Jeff Hollingsworth in hand over fist as we are 104 laps into the books of 200. Hollingsworth, Osmer, Wubker, Sturgill, and Beasley. And don't look now, but Simard is on a charge.
Chris Simard working his way up already into the 11th position. Nate Siefker, we saw him, I believe, come into pit road not that long ago. He is, there he is right there fighting with Raul. I'm sorry, that's not Raul Alvarez, pardon me. That is, it might be William Fletcher. It is William Fletcher. Oh, no.
Lap down.
Pardon me, that is Nate Siefker.
He's on the backside of Dan Brazington right now, and Siefker is one lap down.
Dan Brazington, thank you very much. That's what we were looking for. As we go back up to the front, as we see in the back, saw in the background there, that little flash, Brett Beasley fighting with Michael Sturgill for the 4th position. And Sturgill, boy, a big swing from Brett Beasley from the outside to the inside. And Beasley not able to hold it on the inside. It looks like the outside is the preferred lane at one end of the track and the inside the preferred on the other end.
Want to be on the inside of 1 and 2 and the outside of 3 and 4, because with 3 and 4 being as flat as they are, you can carry so much more momentum on turn exit and give you a drive down the front straight.
Certainly, we've seen that a bunch here tonight, as Beasley, when the caution came out, was running in the 2nd position. So Beasley does have pace in that number 96. As we look up at the front, the background of that picture there, here we are in the foreground now. Osmer and Hollingsworth getting some action in here.
And these guys no stranger to each other. You know, we guys throw hand grenades at each other time and time again, you know, just at it hammer and tong. But the thing is, there's respect between these. You know, Jeff Hollingsworth, very calculating, very methodical with his driving. Ronnie Osmer, a little more daring, but there's a respect between the two, and they're willing to give each other room. But Osmer's starting to fade, and we're back under caution.
Yes, we are, as I believe that was it is Michael Sturgill in that number 55, and we will see what happened to him here momentarily. As Sturgill now able to get that car rolling. As him and Brett Beasley, that was net code there. That unfortunately was net code between the number 96 and the 55. So just caught him in that left rear. And again, those guys have been fighting prior to the pit stops and all throughout that run, and just unfortunately got a little bit too close for the internets to enjoy. And both went around, as it looks as though Hollingsworth is in the pits. Osmer jukes back out, and Jeff Wubker jukes out as well. So that's Jeff Hollingsworth in the pits. Tyler Vickery, Mark McFadden, Will Fletcher, Michael Sturgill, Raul Alvarez in the pits as well.
Good to see Jeff Wubker, back up towards the front. Now, he got caught up in earlier melee that happened, and wasn't sure if he was going to be able to maintain just a little bit of wing damage early on. Guarantee he has burned his fast repair before the out, but good to see Bubs up towards the.
As we highlighted under the last caution, Jeff Wubker has been a fixture up towards the front here, like in the top 10 range. Once again, up in the top 10 here tonight. As again, we are under caution number 11, working lap 115 of 200 here this evening. And would like to remind you guys once again that this race tonight is being sponsored by diecastnuts.com. Diecast Nuts is an online diecast collector community that gives our members a home page to design however they want and post pictures of their collections of diecast cars, trucks, planes, etc. All brands, all scales, all models are welcome, all for free at diecastnuts.com. That's diecastnutz.com. And I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, and I still do, this is a habit that I have even to this day. Whenever I go to Target, I have to go through the toy section to look and see what NASCAR diecast, the little 1/64th scale diecasts are on the shelves.
Yeah, whenever I go to a place like that, one of the big box stores. But I always go to see what type of, again, diecast cars are in their toy section. And some of those cars, I'm thinking to myself, where the heck was this stuff when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Good grief. But also, Diecast Nuts, you can buy, sell, and trade.
Yeah, that's another great point, another great thing you can do on there, so you can build up your collection, show yours off. And I can tell you right now, in my parents' house in California, I still have a lot of my old diecast cars that I was born in '92 that date back probably circa '94. NASCAR diecast, little 64th scales. As we get set to go green, Ronnie Osmer once again leads them away. We are back racing lap 117 of 200, and Brett Beasley immediately right under Jeff Wubker takes over that second position.
I'm thinking Wubker was in the wrong gear, and we're back under caution.
Yes, we are. This time it looks to be Michael Sturgill again. Oh, if it is him, we missed it. Yep,
Right.
Here we go. Slip sliding away in the middle of 1 and 2, and we've seen that a lot. And it all is coming with guys that have taken the fast repair. It seems, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the setup that these guys are running here tonight, but there's something with cars that have already used their fast repair that makes them incredibly back-end happy.
And I'm thinking it has to do with that glitch that Paul Crumry mentioned to that interview that we did. And his changed after qualifying.
Yeah.
And it would not take the adjustment after he burned his fast repair. It would not adjust. So probably an issue going on. Not sure what's going on there.
And the last thing we want to do with our first ever race on the iRacing broadcast portal is to point out the glitch. But, once is an oddity, second time is interesting, the third time is a trend. And we've seen it about 3 or 4 times here tonight. Guys who have noted to be taking fast repairs, having incredibly loose cars on the back end of it. And Sturgill now, the most recent victim of that. I mean, we've seen Kieran Brigelli, his race went way south after taking his fast repair. Paul Crumry, same thing. Carl Burke had an issue. Bob Lacavara had an issue. So it is a trend here tonight.
Yeah, and it's definitely something guys are probably going to the league's going to want to have to take a look at for next time back here to
Do apologize again with the connection issues with Tony here tonight. It's not a normal occurrence for Tony, just an unfortunate night. It is I know it's raining and storming here on Long Island. I don't know if it's the same out there with you.
It's
in upstate.
pouring. It's pouring cats and dogs here in Weedsport.
That would probably be why.
But it's kind of, well, that, and it also is weird that I'm having two different headsets do the same thing. So I'm thinking something's up across the board tonight, as we've been seeing some really weird things happen. And the full moon was 2 weeks ago. So can't blame it on that.
Yeah, no, it is. I believe this is the remnants of the hurricane that hit Florida at the end of last week into last weekend, and that's made its way. I'm in Long Island. Tony's in upstate New York, so we are relatively close to each other. As a heck of a lot closer than my broadcast partner on Sunday night will be. Sam Cooper Bennett, he's one of the administrators for Sim Racers Edge, all the way over in Ireland. So if we're both having connection issues, it's one or the other with us.
Yeah, pretty much. But good to have a fellow New Yorker in the booth, even different football teams.
Certainly do, and both of ours stink compared to yours as we get set to go racing again here. Ronnie Osmer leading them away on lap 122 of 200. It is Osmer, Beasley, Wubker, Jeffrey Roulette up in the top 5, as well as Mark Walker. Mark Walker's been a fixture at the back end of this top 5 as we see Jeffrey Roulette popping back into frame.
Walker's been having some pretty good runs as of late this season. I mean, didn't finish too poorly at Mid-Ohio either. So good to see him having another top 10 finish and currently, or top 10 run going on, as Osmer with about a 5-car length lead over Brett Beasley right now, and Beasley about the same distance to Wubker.
Yep, Chris Simard and Jeff Hollingsworth now having a little bit of an issue getting around Tony Phillips in the number 31. Simard was under him, couldn't get the move done. That allowed Hollingsworth back up to him on his outside. Now these guys are going to look to try it again, going down into turn 1, this being a battle for the 7th position.
And Simard not quite close enough to make it happen this time. Hollingsworth going to look, though, if Simard's not careful, he's going to try to make it too wide coming through the 3-4 complex. And if Simard has been paying attention, and I know he does, he's probably going to want to try the outside on Phillips going through 3 and 4, because that seems to be where everybody's making the clean passes tonight.
Yep, Chris Simard coming in on lap 99. Hollingsworth in under this last caution flag. So there is a tire discrepancy there as Simard looks to the inside through turns 3 and 4, could not make the move. And just behind them is Nate Siefker, our pole sitter for the evening, getting around Dan Brazington in the 29, putting himself back up into the top 10.
And you could see what I was talking about with Simard and Phillips. Simard went to the inside. Phillips was able to keep it wound up on that high lane, and Phillips just walked him.
Yep, now into the braking zone of turn 1. Simard giving Phillips plenty of room. Not able to complete the pass there, not missing anything up at the front. Ronnie Osmer with a 1-second lead over Brett Beasley, who has a 2.5 on Jeff Wubker. Jeffrey Roulette and Mark Walker, however, having a little bit of a battle here. This is the battle for the 4th position, and that's Butch Davis, who we haven't talked about much here tonight, driving that number 43 right behind these two, as Davis continuing a great run.
Yeah, absolutely. That John Andretti tribute car looking beautiful tonight here at Phoenix International, or ISM as they're calling it now. And we've seen Butch run up front a lot this season, but just the stakes have not fallen his way. And fortunately, he hasn't had the finishes that he deserves.
Yeah, he had a decent run going last week at Mid-Ohio, and also had a nice run at Twin Ring Motegi 2 weeks ago. So Butch Davis, the performance has been there. Especially, he was a fixture up at the front of the opening race at Auto Club unfortunately got caught up in a last lap incident that pretty much sent everyone back.
Absolutely. Is behind him, Simard, Hollingsworth, and Siefker have all cleared Tony Phillips, and they're now starting to reel Butch and company in as those three guys start to have their march forward again.
As you see Jeff Hollingsworth fighting Nate Siefker there. That is the 93 in the foreground and the 2 in the background there. That is Siefker in the 2, Hollingsworth up in front. We'll take a look now at the track map, see where everybody is on track in relation to each other. There are the initials of everyone on track. RO up at the top of the track right now is Ronnie Osmer, your race leader.
Yeah, and Osmer's been impressive here tonight. Started 4th and got the initial start timed just about perfect, and was up into 2nd before the end of lap 1.
He's about to put Will Fletcher a lap down. Will Fletcher running in the 17th position. Now, as is a normal issue with SDK, SDK is a little
Temperamental.
ambitious, I guess you should say, as far as who is on the lead lap and who is not. Will Fletcher, running in the 15th position right now, is the first car not on the lead lap. The other guys highlighted in blue on the timing tower, Tyler Vickery, Mark McFadden, and Ernie Ludwig, those guys are still on the lead lap, as the little gap extension there on the timing and scoring pylon will suggest.
Yeah, just over a 5-second difference between where Ludwig is to Osmer, seconds behind him, which works out to about 5 seconds in front of him, ready to go a lap down. So Ernie Ludwig kind of on the back foot as he got caught up in a couple early ones, was able to salvage that car, and he's trying to gain as many points out of tonight as he possibly can.
This is the battle for 6th position that we're showing right now. Butch Davis, Chris Simard, and Nate Siefker has gotten around Jeff Hollingsworth as Simard looks to the inside of Butch Davis, is able to get there. He's not going to be able to complete the pass, though, as now his attack on Davis is going to turn into a defense from Nate Siefker, who is to his outside, but fortunately has the line going into turn 1, is unable to clear Nate Siefker, which pretty much gives Siefker that position going into turn 3.
Yeah, and that second lane really starting to pay dividends as Siefker, that almost ended poorly.
Just drove right around Butch Davis, gaining 2 positions. In one corner was Nate Siefker, going from 8th to 6th right now. And on the back bumper, that is Mark Walker right in front of him. That's the back end of the top 5.
And they almost had to deal with William Fletcher. Luckily, everybody able to take evasive action as Fletcher way off the pace right now. And you're right, Siefker all over the rear wing of Mark Walker as Walker throws the block going into 3, and Siefker just keeps foot in it.
And that's unfortunately the wrong way to block. Typically the inside, and Butch Davis and Mark Walker have a very interesting moment as Davis loses it, has to chase it up the racetrack. That allows Chris Simard to take the 7th position away from Butch Davis.
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about. The moves that these guys are making. Yeah, we're getting close to money stop time, and you're trying to get as many positions as you can. The question is, who on the lead lap is going to be the first one to blink in hopes to get the undercut on the rest of these guys?
Talking about Ronnie Osmer. Well, we'll take a look right now going through the top 5 here of guys and how long, as you see Osmer now about to put a lap on Ernie Ludwig. That's the 14th position. There you see the top 6 and where they are on tire stints. And I'll tell you what, Wupker has been out there for 56 laps on his current set of tires, he is going to be hurting the rest of the guys all at 46. Osmer, Beasley, Roulette, and Simard. Nate Siefker only 31 laps on his current set of rubber.
Yeah, but he's having to use a lot of that rubber make the headway that he's had to make. And Jeffrey Roulette's no slouch and not going to make it easy.
This is uncharted territory for these guys. This is by far and away the longest green flag run that we have had here tonight. These guys are not necessarily sure as to what these cars and what these tires are going to do on a long run. So this is going to be interesting a learning process for all of these drivers right now.
Well, I can guarantee you the guys that have the in-car adjustments programmed onto their steering wheels or into a button box, they're adjusting, if not every corner, at least every lap.
Watching Nate Siefker, and you can see right there on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen there, that last lap and his best lap, about a second difference, as we now see Brett Beasley going into pit road, Jeff Wupker going in as well. Those two, Wupker had just taken the second position away from Brett Beasley, and then saw him in his rearview mirror go into pit, decided to come with him.
So there's our answer, is who's going to try to get the undercut. As Osmer stays out, I'm thinking Osmer is going to run this as far as he possibly can, come in, get the fresh tires as late as he has to, and try to hustle it to the finish, as he's about 7 seconds to the good over Jeffrey Roulette right now.
Yeah, as Brett Beasley had a mare of a pit stop, Wupker in the box for 8.08 seconds. Brett Beasley a full second longer, as you see the gap between those two on pit exit. That's Wupker out well ahead of the number 96 of Brett Beasley, and they're now both put a lap down, as you would be here at Phoenix.
Absolutely, and during that melee, Siefker was able to get around Roulette. Now has a little bit of a buffer between himself and Chris Simard, as 7.5 seconds at the stripe between Osmer and Siefker. And you know, this is racing that we're normally seeing with this league.
This is the pass that you just saw for the second position, as Roulette trying to come back on Siefker on the inside, but at this point it's pretty well academic. So there was your pass for second position, as again working on by far and away our longest green flag run of the evening. Just under quarter distance left here, working lap 155 of 200. Nate Siefker leading by 7.5 seconds over the two
no,
men you
not.
see on screen.
Osmer's leading this.
Oh, you're right. Pardon me. Osmer leading by 7.5 seconds over Nate Siefker and Chris Simard, who is right behind him. Simard has been able to dispatch of Jeffrey Roulette, and Jeff Hollingsworth currently sitting in the top 5. He has the second best tires of the three that we were watching between Siefker, Simard, and himself. Now back in 5th position as Ronnie Osmer heads into pit lane, looking for the money stop.
And we're getting close to the UK distance, so this very well could be the stop for Osmer. Might have to save just a little bit, maybe a lap or two worth of fuel, but Nate Siefker inherits the lead from him. That's going to move Simard into. Simard just went pit side.
Chris Simard in pit road. Oh, Ronnie Osmer spins it. We're on board with Ronnie Osmer. Spins it coming out of pit lane. Is no caution on circuit, but he was still able to keep it going. And that has been the story with Ronnie Osmer. If it's a name you recognize, it's for good reason. He has run several races in the ARCA series, has Ronnie Osmer. But here this season, we've seen him. It's just that one mistake that puts him behind. And unfortunately, had enough of a gap. He's going to stay ahead of Chris Simard. There you see him coming out of pit road. But Osmer could have a couple of wins on this season so far. Just unfortunately, he does something to shoot himself in the foot.
Well, it was where he turned that pit road speed limiter off. On cold tires, got to already be in second gear so that when you turn that limiter off, it doesn't just blast your tires completely on force style burnout.
You saw he is now behind Brett Beasley, who was in third position when he came into pit. Jeff Wubker is a second and a half up the road of Brett Beasley. So you're looking, that spin had to have cost Ronnie Osmer a good 7 or 8 seconds, as now he gets under Beasley going into turn one. Osmer back into the top 10.
Osmer back into the top 10, and now, but Jeff Hollingsworth just took over second place.
Yep. Jeffrey Roulette, Butch Davis into pit road. You're seeing Tony Phillips in pit road. Raul Alvarez in the far background there in pit lane. So the top three right now sit Nate Siefker, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Tyler Vickery. That is your top three. Those guys came in under the last caution flag. Siefker last pit on lap 114, Hollingsworth on 113, Tyler Vickery on lap 118. So those guys do have a little bit of good to go left in those tires.
Absolutely. As an eye on your top three, the only three who have not been pit side, hoping for a caution so that they can catch the rest of the field a lap down. At Siefker, Hollingsworth, and Vickery. Now, there's a name that we're hearing again. You know, Vickery, second week in a row, we've seen him have a top 5 run going so far. And,
little bit of an issue there, having to keep off the back end of the number 9 of Raul Alvarez, trying to keep from going 3 wide coming out of pit road. There you saw Jeff Wubker flash by. Here goes Ronnie Osmer by Tyler Vickery. Again, those guys are not for position for Vickery, but Wubker and Osmer are in position for each other, as boy, Osmer had a big weave around William Fletcher in the 28. There's Fletch in the 28, and here is Ronnie Osmer hawking down that 09 of Jeff Wubker.
As Osmer hawking down Wubker, Simard was just throwing haymakers at Mark Walker, and finally wrestled that spot away from him as he moves up into the 8th spot. Both of them still a lap down, and almost gets into the back of Raul Alvarez.
Only the top 2 drivers are on the lead lap, and that's because those 2 have yet to pit. We'll take a look now at the stint length for the top 6 drivers. And there you see it. Siefker and Hollingsworth have been on the same tires, 55 and 56 laps. Ernie Ludwig also not too far off on his tire life, but Wubker, Beasley, and Osmer on the freshest tires of that group, as now here comes the race leader, Nate Siefker, into pit lane.
Goes into pit. Hollingsworth going to stay out and inherit the lead there. And don't look now, but the battle for third really heating up as Wubker and Osmer are reeling in Ernie Ludwig. And again, Ludwig on older tires, so it's only going to be a matter of laps here before they go to work on the Tide Ride.
This right now is the battle you're seeing right here, is the battle for effective race lead between Jeff Wubker and Ronnie Osmer. These two came in a couple of laps apart from each other. Osmer on fresher tires than Wubker. Here comes Osmer around the outside of Jeff Wubker, takes that position, and with that effective race lead, Jeff Hollingsworth in pit road, coming out of pit road now. Ernie Ludwig right now has the official race lead, but he is on the same tires that Jeff Hollingsworth was on and should be coming pit side here momentarily.
Yeah, expect him to come pit side within a lap or two, but he's got Osmer all over his rear wing right now, and it looks like expect Ludwig in this time, as he is majorly slow right now. And it looks like he's going to keep it out another lap as Wubker gets by him as well. So that drops Ludwig to third. Osmer inherits the lead, and Wubker sitting in second right now. And here comes Beasley to the outside of Ludwig as well.
And this is where Ronnie Osmer has to really be kicking himself. Again, he came into the pits with about a 5 or 6 second lead on Jeff Wubker and Brett Beasley. Beasley did not have a great stop, came out well behind Jeff Wubker, and then Ronnie Osmer spun it on pit exit. We were on board with him throughout his pit stop and on pit exit. Spun around, cost him about 8 seconds. He could be well ahead of these guys right now, but right now only has a 1.2 second lead. And guys like Nate Siefker and Chris Simard, there's Siefker right there sitting in the 4th position, about to pass Brett Beasley on way fresher tires.
Yeah, Beasley, you got to think, is a sitting duck right now. He's got to protect that outside lane, because if he gives it in, there he goes.
There he goes, right around the outside, and you can see the difference. That was a battle of tires that were about 2 laps old compared to tires that were 26 laps old. And the same old story, same old song and dance is going to come for Jeff Wubker right now, as there's Ernie Ludwig out of pit road a lap down again.
Absolutely, as Wubker tries to throw the block, almost gets run over from behind, and realizes just how much faster Siefker was, and just lets him go through 1 and 2.
And Nate Siefker now only has 2.5 seconds to make up to get to Ronnie Osmer. Now Nate Siefker, as the caution comes out, looking, that's Jeff Hollingsworth with no front wing. And we'll see what happened to Hollingsworth. He was fighting with Tony Phillips on track, and missed it there. Oh, just comes sliding through turn 2 and backs it into the wall. And unfortunately, that might do it for Hollingsworth.
Dash repair during happened on the front straightaway, so that's a rough one. You hate to see that happen for representing the United States Coast Guard tonight.
So that does appear to be possibly the end for Ronnie Osmer, for Jeff Hollingsworth's night. As there's Ronnie Osmer, that's why I was bringing him up. Now this is a very interesting spot here, because the tire strategy looks as though it could have completely flipped. Nate Siefker was on 22 lap old tires, 22 lap fresher tires. Then Ronnie Osmer. Osmer elects to stay out. Jeff Wubker comes in. So a difference of pitch strategy here. Brett Beasley as well on 21 lap older tires than Nate Siefker, deciding to stay out in 3rd place. I'm surprised by this move.
Well, I mean, you can't really blame Beasley for trying it, because we've seen it all night long that older tires can hang for a little bit, but he's got to take a look at who he's around right now. Got Siefker in front of him and Simard behind him. That's not an enviable spot to be in.
No, it's really not. As you can see now, there is the last time these guys have been down to pit road, and Nate Siefker has the clear advantage in that strategy on 14 lap fresher tires than Ronnie Osmer. It's just, doesn't matter where you look down the line, Siefker is on the freshest tires. And for a guy who has not led this race since he came in for his first pit stop, he's going to be looking and hungry to get back up to the front.
Well, the other thing, too, is Siefker's going to be hungry to prove that he's not just a road course ringer. He didn't have the best of luck at the season opener at Auto Club. He had even worse luck at Texas. And Mategi was a race he'd just as soon forget, I would assume. So he's looking to prove something here on the oval at Phoenix tonight.
He most certainly is. As we've plugged our sponsors several times here tonight, but Tony, just to make it even and fair, Turn Sim Racing, we've been talking about them several times here tonight. They are the lead sponsor for the Sim Racers Edge IndyCar Series. Tell the fine folks about the services provided by Turn Racing.
Well, Turn Racing is merging the gap between sim sport and motorsport with high-quality sim peripherals for the racer that wants to bring their game to the next level. They offer steering wheels based on real-world designs, but with the functionality that we sim racers need. Plug-and-play setups for the most common sim rigs to computer-aided design files so you can 3D your own parts. These guys offer it all. The link in the video description below to let them know that Sim Racers Edge sent you and show your support for the league.
And they are a very proud sponsor of Sim Racers Edge, as we've seen the longest green flag run of the night just go by as we're working, I believe, caution number 14 here tonight. And with only, let's say 17 laps to go when we hit the line here, it's going to come down to a dog-eat sprint.
Absolutely, as the pace car is in, Osmer has the button, holds him back a little bit. Green flag comes out, he pulls the trigger and gets a decent jump over Siefker. Caught him sleeping just a little bit. We're wondering what type of run Siefker's going to get to try to battle back on him. And Osmer just starting to stretch his legs now as they haul it off into turn number 3.
And that's the advantage of being the lead car on these restarts. You get to go when you want, especially if you're on older tires. With the short run ahead of you, it is crucial to get a great restart and build that gap. But Osmer hit the apron. It looked like going through 1 and 2. Has Siefker all over him now heading into turn 3. Osmer's going to block that outside for everything he's worth. Siefker, though, has the grip. He might have the run as well. Takes a peek, decides better of it going down into turn 1.
Yeah, and Osmer was doing everything he could to keep Siefker behind him. But unfortunately, I think it's only going to be a matter of time, because of how much newer Siefker's tires are. And Osmer just messed up. He gave Siefker that outside lane, and Siefker going to cross him over going into turn number 1, side by side, into the dog leg.
That just shows the power that Ronnie Osmer has in that car to be able to hold it on such older tires around the outside of turn 1. Is he going to be able to do the same in 3 and 4? No, he's not. That superior grip is going to help Nate Siefker take the lead of this race. And Siefker now might have an easy path to victory on those tires.
Yeah, and it was only a matter of laps before Osmer was going to have to relinquish. By the time you get to the 20-lap mark, you've worn all of the goodie off the tires. It's that layer of good rubber that's going to give you the best lap times possible. But right now, the battle for third really starting to heat up.
There's Brett Beasley. We're talking about him in that red number 96. Chris Simard in the 77. Jeff Wupker, who was the first car to come into the pits, has made his way back up and around. He is into the top 5, or getting into the top 5, pardon me, as he looks to the outside of Butch Davis, as that number 09 wind machine is not done yet. He wants to put those fresh tires to use as Simard takes over the 3rd position from Brett Beasley.
Beasley now under attack from Butch Davis in that John Andretti tribute. Number 43 is Davis all over his rear wing, throws it to the inside. Beasley freaks out, goes a little bit high, gets it into the marbles. He's going to lose 2 spots coming down the front straightaway.
And that's very difficult there. 9 laps to go as Brett Beasley, we're seeing him hemorrhaging positions. Moments ago was up in the 3rd position, is now fallen down to 6th. It is going to come under fire here momentarily from Mark Walker. As you can see there, Jeffrey Roulette and Tyler Vickery running side by side, this being a battle for 8th position. And now Dan Brazington getting involved in the number 29 behind the 24 of Vickery.
Yeah, Brazington is hungry for a top 10 finish. Currently sitting inside the top 10. Again, that's another guy that's been just caught up in everyone else's dumpster fires all season long. But how about what's going on for fourth place right now between Wubker and Davis?
Butch Davis up there. You see them side by side. Wubker not able to take the position through the kink. Now going through 3 and 4. Gets a nice little launch. Will not have enough room to dive going down into turn number 1. 6 laps to go. Nate Siefker right now holding a 3-second lead and looks well on his way to his first oval win of the season, his third in 6 races.
There are 5 laps to go for your leader, Nate Siefker. Osmer, Simard, Davis, Wubker, top 5. Walker just on the cusp of trying to get in there. And it's go time, and these guys know it. No quarter asked for, no quarter given.
See that yellow car at the very bottom of your screen there? That is third place. That is Chris Simard. Butch Davis able to hold off the fresh tires of Jeff Wubker at the moment. As you see on this timing pylon, up 17 spots from where he started. Mark Walker right behind him, about to give Wubker fits as we have only 3 laps to go here at Phoenix.
Absolutely, as Siefker has just stretched his legs out right now, over 3.5 seconds to the good over Ronnie Osmer. Osmer's got to hope for a miracle, and Chris Simard's got to hope for a miracle from 2 guys in front of him as the battle rages on behind him. Podium pretty much set as popsicle sticks are in the air.
That is a 3-way battle for the for the 4th position right now. Davis, Wubker, and Mark Walker coming around turns 3 and 4. But the focus right now is on this man. Coming out of turn 2, Nate Siefker started on the pole, has been a dominant force all season long, especially on the road courses. Comes through 3 and 4 to pick up his first oval win of the year. Nate Siefker wins the Western Desert 200 at Phoenix. Ronnie Osmer comes home second. Simard third. Walker was able to nip. Simard, Davis, Walker, Beasley, the top 6 as Jeff Wubker finds himself finishing all the way back in 9th position. As that will conclude a long night here at Phoenix, and we will get to the interviews here in a moment. But boy, oh boy, Nate Siefker had one heck of a night, and it was pitch strategy that won him the race.
Wubker ran out of gas on the last lap.
Well, that's what would have done it there then. So Wubker going from 5th position down to 9th, losing out to Mark Walker, Brett Beasley, Jeffrey Roulette, and Tyler Vickery before finally crossing the line. But the winner is the man you see on screen right now. That is Ronnie Osmer, who we are going to look to get a word in with here momentarily. As we'll wait a second for that graphic here. And Tony, you are with Nate Siefker.
Nate Siefker, great qualifying attempt, and then all hell seemed to break loose for your night. Talk us through difficulties you were having in turn 1.
Well, let me think here. Wait up, I gotta mute someone real quick here. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really difficult to learn the line there. In 1 and 2, I just couldn't get it right. Honestly, this is pretty difficult. To be fair, to get it all squared away. And yeah, it was just the way that arced the corner. Just didn't produce enough downforce on the rear of the car, and it caused me to loop around a couple times. So I should have learned by the first one, and I didn't. And then I did it the second time. I was like, okay, I'm not doing that no more. So yeah, it was just unfortunate. It was a bad deal. and learned from it. Learned to run the top, and that top was king. I didn't realize how king it was until I got my lap back finally, and after my drive-through, I finally got my lap back, and I was like, okay, I had to pass people, and I learned that top lane was really kicking, and nobody was using it. So once I figured that out, it was game on from there, and sliced my way through the field, and I was chasing Ronnie down before that yellow. I probably would have still got to him too. So yeah, I had it pretty hooked up there towards the end for sure.
Well, Nate, you mentioned that top lane was, that's something we normally see here at Phoenix. I'm really surprised more people weren't using it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really thinking of using it until, yeah, when I was back in traffic. I didn't even know that was a lane to use until I used it once, and actually, I realized it when Chris passed me, or Ronnie passed me, when Tyler was leading the race. I actually realized that top lane could work, and nobody used it, and I was kind of surprised by it. So, yeah, I just knew when everyone was pitting there that last cycle, I knew I had to stay out because just in case there's a yellow, but also to have the fresh tires to really run that line. And the yellow came out. I knew I had a much better shot, and just capitalized on it really.
Well, we go from the shortest track on the schedule to arguably the most famous track on the schedule next week as the series moves to Indianapolis and the famed Brickyard. Your thoughts going into that event?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it really. I think it's going to be a really fun race. Hopefully we get our pre-race stuff figured out beforehand, and don't have to really worry about that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be fun though. I think it's going to be cause some great racing. I'm really looking forward to next week for sure. Absolutely.
Now, being as it is going to be the road course, I've got to think after the performances we've seen so far this season, you're one of the favorites going into that event.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, I never want to think I'm the favorite because I mean, there's people who do really well at certain road courses. So, I'm looking forward to the challenge. I know, a couple people Butch really showed, he had, great pace, and a couple of the people. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week. Hopefully we get a lot of drivers out. I know tonight, as an admin, it wasn't the greatest show for us, and I know it wasn't the greatest show for you guys. So on behalf of myself, I apologize for that. But hopefully, we can produce a really good show next week. We really look forward to producing some great racing here on ESPN.
Well, Nate, before we let you go, is there any...
Yeah, first thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Turn Racing here at SRE. They create a great product, and we have a link in the description of the broadcast, I believe. They got excellent products for high-end sim racing gear, so we're really thankful for them to be on board. I want to thank every single member of the league tonight that stuck it out, and even guys that accidentally crashed out of the race. Phoenix is a tough place. Having 26 cars come out to Phoenix when there's lots of cautions usually, I'm really, really pleased to have the numbers that we did. So thank you to every single member of this league. Thank you to you guys for broadcasting. You guys put a lot of effort in with the iRacing portal, of course, as part of it. And, you guys just do a really, really good job and put on a great product to show off our league. And lastly, I want to mention, there's a person that I know quite well who's in the hospital. And, I'm really hoping that everything recovers well. I'm not sure exactly what his situation is, but, I really felt like tonight I owed it to that individual to get a really strong result. So if that person is watching, I don't want to disclose names just because, but if that person is watching, I hope they watched. I did a good job, hopefully, for them. Sorry, there's lots of yellows, but hopefully the end product was a good show.
It certainly was, Nate, and I guess we're having problems with Tony's mic again. But Nate Siefker, you've won, well, now the winner of 3 of the first 6 races for Sim Racers Edge here tonight, getting your first oval win of the season. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nate.
Thank you.
User
So
left your
that
channel.
was Nate Siefker, and we are now going to bring
User was
in
moved to your channel.
Ronnie Osmer. And Ronnie, second place finish here tonight, had one of the stronger cars, had the most laps led
User
on the
joined your
night
channel.
easily. Just
User was
that
moved out of your
mistake
channel.
coming out of pit road kind of negated by that last caution.
Yeah, that mistake coming out of pit road shouldn't have happened. I mean, if I didn't do that, it would have been a flawless race for me. I just got impatient on the throttle for no reason, and I got the lead back on Wilkirk because I knew I could get it back from him, and I felt confident I still could have hung on to the lead if the race stayed green. But as soon as that caution came out, I knew I wasn't going to win this race.
Did you have any thought of possibly pitting under that last caution, knowing he has still had a decent amount of time to get back up? I mean, we saw Jeff Wubker came in, ran out of fuel, unfortunately, but he made it up into the top 5 after pitting under that last caution. Did you think, was there any possible thought of you coming into pit on that last caution?
No, because Phoenix is really a track position kind of track. It doesn't matter how many laps you have on your tires. Usually, if you're within the front 3 cars on a restart, you're pretty well set and to stay up there. And if you're in the back, if you got the fresh tires, it's almost impossible to pass. So it's better to have the track position on that late restart than the tires.
And we're going to Indianapolis next week. We're running the Grand Prix circuit. What are your thoughts going into the Indianapolis road course? You said during Road America, after your good finish, you had a lot more confidence going into the road courses. You still feel the same way going into Indianapolis?
Yeah, I feel so. I feel more confident in road courses this season because I'm apparently doing better in those than ovals this season, which is really odd to me. It felt like I could have won Road America. I felt like I could have won Mid Ohio. So hopefully I get that luck this time and I can win the road course Indy.
All right, anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to thank everybody on Team VSM. It's Veterans Day, so I want to give a shout out to my dad, my uncle, and my grandpa who are veterans. Hope y'all had a great day. Ride to Give, PH Aware, and that's about it. You guys for broadcasting.
All right, well, thank you very much. Ronnie Osmer, your second place finisher here tonight, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there was your second place finisher, Ronnie Osmer, and we will go now to our third place finisher here tonight. That would be Chris Simard. And Tony, I believe you have Chris here waiting with you. Possibly. A little bit of an issue here. Still with Tony. We do apologize for just the sheer amount of technical glitches that we have had here this evening. We're trying to get Chris Simard up into the booth. And Tony, I believe you have him now.
I do. Chris Simard, all things considered, you can't be too disappointed with a podium finish tonight.
Oh, I'm not. After what happened, it was kind of crazy tonight. I kind of wish I had beaten Nate, but it was fun driving it through the field. So,
well, I mean, all things considered, with everything that went on all night long and all the carnage that we did see, you survived Phoenix. Talk us through what happened there when you pretty much ate the guardrail in 1 and 2.
Yeah, the first wreck from Nate there, well, spin out from Nate, I had it locked down pretty good, but I hit the brakes a little too hard, and I had a lot of brake to the back, and it kind of spun up the track, and I don't know, I hit Kieran, I think, and that's what put me in the wall.
And then we saw synchronized spinning between you and Siefker a little bit later on. You know, the judges' scores for that one are still not in yet.
Yeah, I kind of wish I ran into him both those times so he didn't have to win. But I would have felt bad if I did that. So I just locked it down that second time, and I turned the wheel to the left and spun it, and we just barely hit. So I don't know. It's a product of us being together all the time, I guess. So which is a good thing. So.
Well, you should be getting used to it by now, as you two have been in lockstep most of the season. But moving forward, we go from the desert to the Brickyard next week and the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I kind of hope I don't spin out coming to the green like I did at Mid Ohio, but if I don't do that, I'm gonna have a good race hopefully. So I'm starting to get used to the road courses and starting to be pretty fast. I just gotta clean up all the crap that I do. So.
Well, the good news is there's a lot less elevation changes at the road course at Indy than there were at Mid Ohio.
Yeah, that coming to the green was brutal for me at Mid Ohio because of the elevation change. The car was so light there, and I stepped on the gas a little too quick, so made me feel like an idiot. But I'm not going to do that next week. So.
Well, Chris, again, congratulations on the podium. And is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Turn Racing for sponsoring the league. You guys up in the booth, you put on one hell of a show for us. So I love going back and watching, and it's awesome that we are in the iRacing portal. That is awesome. So that shows that our league is really strong, and I hope it stays that way. So, and my wife and son.
Absolutely. Now for the good news, I did just receive that the point standings are in. You are maintaining second place.
That is good because if I do have a bad race, it's usually on the road course. So hopefully, these ovals help me out really, really big. I feel like I'm as fast as Nate on the ovals. Maybe not tonight, but I feel like I have a shot at the championship with the ovals, and if I can just finish in the top 5 in the road courses, I'll be fine. So.
Well, Nate currently sitting atop. You're sitting in second, 12 points back, and you've got 26 points to the good over Brett Beasley in third. So best of luck to you next week at the Indy Road Course, and we'll see you then.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
User was moved out of your channel.
So that was your third place finisher, Chris Simard. As we wrap up this evening, the first half of the Sim Racers Edge season is in the books. Tony, it was a rough start to this race, as you would expect at Phoenix with a big group of guys. But as the race dwindled down, we got one heck of a show in the second half of this race.
Very much so, and it's kind of to be expected. There's not a lot of room to make mistakes here at Phoenix, and if you do make a mistake, you're taking a lot of people with you usually. But yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of things happen that learning experiences. And but next week these guys are really going to shine, because every time we've gone to a road course, these guys have put on an amazing show. You don't want to miss it, folks.
Yeah, they have put on one heck of a show at all of the road courses, both of the road courses that we have been to. But right now we'll start to wrap up here. We'll give you the results for the race here this evening of the 27 drivers that competed here tonight. Nate Siefker comes out victorious, his third race win of the season, his first on an oval. Ronnie Osmer, Chris Simard rounding out the podium. Butch Davis, Mark Walker round out the top 5. Brett Beasley in 6th. Jeffrey Roulette 7th. Tyler Vickery in 8th. Dan Brazington 9th. Jeff Wubker rounds out the top 10. Tony Phillips, Mark McFadden round out the drivers that finished on the lead lap. And Ernie Ludwig finishing 2 laps down, first driver off the lead lap, Tony.
Will Fletcher coming home in 14th. 15th going to Charles Woods. Raul Alvarez in 16th. Jeff Hollingsworth, not the night he was hoping for, coming home in 17th. Michael Sturgill again in 18th. Johnny Antonucci in 19th. Kieran Brigelli in 20th. 21st going to Jeffrey Bogan. Mike Bourne in 22nd. 23rd going to Yari Browpatcher. Kevin O'Brien in 24th. Carl Burke 25th. Bob Lacavara in 26th. And 27th going to Paul Crumry.
Yeah, so those were the drivers that were competed the top, that did compete in the top 27. We thank you very much for those of you who joined us on YouTube and on Facebook, as always. And we thank you very much, not only to iRacing for allowing us to broadcast on the live portal, but for those of you who found ESPN through the live portal. Again, we come back with the Sim Racer's Edge on the portal next week at the Indianapolis Road Course. Tomorrow night, catch Tony and myself on our page for the United Sim Racing Association's second round at Chicagoland Speedway on Friday night. Sam Cooper Bennett and I will be in the booth for the first round of the playoffs for the iRacing East Super Speedway Series. Nothing going on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll be right back here on the iRacing Live portal for the race at Watkins Glen for the Kick and Asphalt Racing's MPI Cup Series. We are beyond excited to bring those guys to you. But for Tony Trapasso, my broadcast partner, and for myself, Frank Marchese, we thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you right here tomorrow night on our YouTube channel and on Sunday night right here on the iRacing Live portal. Thank you very much for joining. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.